others would survive. The vessel was closer now, and she could see 3 figures standing on the flying bridge. One she easily identified as Don, her boat captain, and all-round handyman at Parker's Retreat. The others must be her guest and his personal trainer, because she could already see Don's 71-year-old father and self-proclaimed boat boy standing on the main deck, ready to cast the mooring lines. Again, that knot in between her shoulder blades tightened. Everything about her reclusive guest's visit was integral to the survival of her business. Everything. "Everything's perfect, isn't it?" She turned and asked her mother, suddenly stricken with an irrational fear that she'd forgotten something. "Mia, relax. You know we've done everything. Mr. del Castillo is in the summit suite. His trainer's accommodation is sorted. The kitchen has Mr. del Castillo's food and beverage preferences. The car and driver in Queenstown are on constant standby, and you yourself have his spa visit schedule organised like a military exercise. Stop worrying so much. Besides, in the unlikely event we've overlooked anything, we can fix it without causing any problems, I'm sure." "Right. We'll be fine," Mia said, more for her own peace of mind than in agreement with her mother's calming words. She stepped forward and grabbed the bowline being thrown from the boat and tied it off on the dock as Don's father nimbly sprang to do the same to secure the rear. As soon as the boat was secured, and the gangway bridged the short distance between the vessel and the dock, she painted on a smile. First to disembark was a whipcord lean blonde man, dressed casually in jeans and a lightweight ski jacket to ward off the chill winter air. The personal trainer, she guessed. She'd assumed that the trainer might be a woman, when told that her guest would be arriving with one other person, and had suspected the moniker to be one of convenience only. But the suppressed energy in the blonde man's gait said otherwise. Mr. del Castillo must be taking his recuperation seriously if this was the man he'd hired for the task. "Hi," he said, taking her hand and pumping it enthusiastically. "I'm André Sylvain, pleased to meet you." French, she noted, judging by his accent. "Welcome to Parker's Retreat, Mr. Sylvain. I think you'll find we have all the equipment you said you would need for the duration of your stay. This is my mother, Elsa Parker. She acts as chatelaine here." "Call me André." He smiled back charmingly and looked around. "This place is amazing. I'm sure Ben and I will accomplish great things together here." His enthusiasm was almost overwhelming, and Mia felt her cheeks start to ache as she turned to watch the tall, dark-haired man now limping down the gangway. Dressed all in black, and clearly suffering from the contrast in temperature between his native Isla Sagrado and a southern New Zealand winter, he guided himself slowly, one hand resting on the handrail. Though she couldn't yet see his face, there was something familiar about him, she thought, as she watched the wind tug at the silk paisley scarf he wore looped around his collar and lower jaw. The finely woven fabric slid down, exposing a shadow of a beard and a pallor to his skin at odds with the Mediterranean summer weather she knew he'd come from. The wind tousled his slightly overlong black hair, lifting it from the smooth, wide plain of his forehead. The sense of familiarity increased as he lifted his head and dark chocolate-brown eyes caught with hers. The knot in her spine intensified and sent a spear of shock straight to her heart as her worst judgment call ever walked back into her life. Benedict del Castillo shivered under the heavy black wool of his knee-length coat, his hand tightening on the gangway rail as he made eye contact with the young woman standing on the dock. Instant recognition and something unexpected, something hot and feral, fired through his veins. Just over 3.5 years ago, at the weekend-long high society party where they'd met, he'd only known her as